For the Florida Chamber, I'm Preston Scott. You know, tort reform is an often discussed topic, but a lot of people don't really understand its impact. A 2012 survey of business lawyers, notice business lawyers, conducted by the respected Harris Interactive polling firm, ranks Florida 41st worst out of 50 states for its poor legal climate. That's the bottom 10. Joining me to discuss it and its impact in Florida business is David Hale. He's CEO of Tampa Tank and Florida Structural Steel. How does it cost business in Florida, David?
Well, Florida is a great state and a great state to work in and run a business in, except for this legal climate. And Florida is in dire need of tort reform. Like you said, being in the bottom of states in the U.S. with this poor legal climate is absurd. You know, Florida businesses constantly think about nuisance lawsuits all the time in every hiring and growth decision we make.
Talk about that a little bit further. You know, Florida's legal climate, how does it impact your ability to do business and to hire and to grow your business? Specific examples.
Well, we truthfully have to think about it every time we hire an employee or go into the growth mode, because we know there's a potential nuisance lawsuit out there. We've had 6 this year, all in the employment arena and all in areas that are not legitimate. However, the lawyers out there know there's loopholes that without spending literally hundreds of thousands of dollars, you cannot fight. They know you'll settle quickly and for, much smaller amounts, and they work that agenda.
Obviously, it's a lot like taxes in that taxes are seldom paid by businesses. They're passed along to consumers, and these legal costs are buried in, and Florida families, Florida consumers pay these costs, don't they?
Yes, they do. I believe the number I've seen is approximately $3,400 per family in Florida, but we refer to as the effective lawsuit tax. And there's no reason for that. It stymies growth in the state of Florida. What
should lawmakers, obviously we've got the session going on, but what should lawmakers be thinking about right now?
Well, tort reform must be implemented. Senate Bills 1494 and 1128 and House Bill 187 and 379 should be taken very seriously. In our opinion, Governor Scott has done a fabulous job keeping Florida a great state to run and grow a business in. And job growth here in Florida reflects those results. However, Florida needs tort reform to continue to prosper.
Now, those bills, Senate Bill 1494 and House Bill 187, let's pair them together for just a second, David. Those bills have to do with fair settlements, right?
Correct. And we have a sample or ways of that works in our workers' comp system, and it works well and efficiently and effectively.
There's also another set of bills that are companions. Senate Bill 1128, you mentioned, along with House Bill 379. That's about informing jurors as to what their settlement, what their decision would, the actual cost and impact of that, right?
Correct. And we think that's fair.
Let's talk about what citizens ought to be doing that are listening to this right now. You have a mixture of people that are just, consumers out there, kind of like you and me. We're in business, but we're also consumers. But there's also a lot of business owners listening right now. What should they know?
Well, they should know that this is costing Florida in job growth, prosperity, and, contacting your representatives and letting them know your thoughts on these matters really makes a difference. Otherwise, they only hear from the other side. We need to speak up and make our voice heard.
David, thanks for the time today.
Thank you very much.
David, thank you. I appreciate it, my friend.
Sure thing.
Have a good day. Bye-bye. Well, let's reset these issues for just a moment. It makes sense to hold trial lawyers and insurance companies to the same set of standards, doesn't it? Well, consumers and small businesses, you deserve a fair settlement process, and that's why the Florida Chamber supports Senate Bill 1494 and House Bill 187. And before juries deliberate the outcome of a case, it just makes sense that they would receive accurate information before making their verdict. We recommend Senate Bill 1128 and House Bill 379. Contact your Florida lawmakers and support this important legislation. For the Florida Chamber, I'm Preston Scott. For the Florida Chamber.